Chicago, another tough city, huh? In a recent column by ESPN.com, Michael C. Wright, some former Bear coaches and 2 players said they have serious doubts about Cutler's future in Chicago. Here's an excerpt from the article. Every one of the former staffers interviewed from the Smith and Trestman regimes pointed out similar flaws in the quarterback, and they started with 2 R words, guys. Renegade and rogue were often used by the former staffers when asked about Cutler's ability to play within confines of an offensive system. They all questioned Cutler's leadership abilities. One former staffer said McCown was the offense's leader in the locker room during his final season in Chicago, adding that for Cutler, quote, it's just not him to embrace such a role. Cutler signed a very lucrative 7-year deal before last season, $54 million guaranteed. How long of a leash should Cutler have in Chicago, Scoop?
I'm thinking at least 8 games. You know, I think Fox is coming in there. This is his first time with the organization. He needs to at least get a feel for what Cutler can do, how the relationship's going to grow, what he's able to do with this team. You know, was this all about Mark Trestman and the regime before? He at least needs to give him 8 games. I'm thinking if they're 6-2, 5-3, it'll be fine. But if they're 2-6, you know what I'm saying? If that's, then it may be done. It may be over. But you're dealing with a new coach coming into a system where, like you said, $54 million guaranteed. They still have $31 million left to pay him. That's a hard sell to the front office saying, you know what, I'm coming in, I don't like this guy. All the players are dogging him. They don't want him back on. That'll make it the organization like, look, that's still 30. The players can talk all they want to. We still have $31 million. You're going to watch him play. You're going to at least give us 8 games before we cut this 30. So, least is short, but at least half a season, to me. Being in Chicago, at least half a season.
Okay.
Look, when there are 10 staffers, former, current, doesn't matter, and 2 players speaking out about somebody, they're speaking for dozens more behind the scenes.
Exactly.
That's my main issue with this. Sure, it's $30 million. That's a tough number to get ownership to swallow, to make a guy go away. But at the same time, they're not winning with him. And they're not I'm not asking them to bring in some quarterback and pay him $20 million on top of what you're paying Cutler. Bring somebody in, pay him $1 million to get you through a season that nobody's thinking you're going anywhere anyway, and get rid of Cutler. I think he's got to be gone. I just think when there's so many people speaking out, you've got a major problem.
But when? When do you do this?
So far, nobody said anything in support of him, right? And that kind of silence is speaking pretty loudly right about now with a guy that you tagged as your franchise quarterback, and you don't have your new coach coming in and saying, he's our guy.
Right.
To me, that means they're still thinking about it. They're still talking about it.
When? I mean,
Freddie, same question. What do you think is happening?
That's a good question. When? Because we can say 8 games, we can say 4 games to 10 games.
Nobody's saying 3 years,
No one's saying 3 years. No one's saying after this year because this is why this is who Jay Cutler has always been. He was like that in Denver, and he was like that when he got to Chicago, and somebody had the temerity to say, let's give him a 7-year, $126 million extension because they were seduced by the fact he has a great arm, and they feel that he can work around that guy and make it work. You got Matt Forte and Brandon Marsh and Alshon Jeffrey on your team, and you're not quarterback enough to get those guys the football and make that work. I'm going to say 10 games tops. I'll put a number out there. I'll go a little bit longer than that because I think the Bears are going to be so bad that they'll be 3-7 or 4-6. Now, if he has a revelation, if they're 6-4 or 8-2, throw a parade in Chicago because it's going to be that good for them. But I don't think that's going to happen because Jay Cutler, to your point, Kate, he's not changing. He's not going to do that. Whoever spoke, you're right. They were speaking for dozens of saying, you know what, we can't win with that guy. Why are we wasting our time? And I thought it was very telling that John Fox opening press conference did remember Cutler's name.
Yes.
If you're having a guy that he looked at him and said, you know what, I'm going to be here a lot longer than him. I'm going to find a way to be here a lot longer than him because he's going to screw me up, and I'm not going to let that happen. So now, if the Bears have to eat that money, are you willing to continue to put him out there and play and pay him that money, or do you say, that's it, we need to really start over? That's going to be the big question. I can't wait to see what the answer is.
I think they have to give a chance.
There's no way, I think there's no way they start 8-2 because the only way that happens is if, as somebody said in an SI article, they handcuff Jay Cutler to the offense.
Yeah.
This is not a guy who's going to let himself be handcuffed to the offense. So
renegade.
He's always been divisive, as you mentioned. So whatever solution they might have, they have a personality who's not going to even allow that one solution to work. And you can make the comparison, right, to A-Rod and the Yankees right now. They owe him a ton of money for a player who's completely unlikable. So why not cut and run?
Yeah, but that's a lot because you're setting a precedent there. Like, you pay A-Rod that money and say, go ahead and do what you have to do. You don't even want to go down that road.
Right, and that money does not count against the Yankees salary cap because they don't have one. So they pay him $61 million for the next 3 years to just have done with it. But the NFL, you can do that, and then you got to worry about the dead cap money that's going to affect and hamstring your franchise.
And can I throw just one more thing out there is that if you give a coach coming in this type of power, you may have another problem. You may have another Jay Cutler problem with the coaching situation. Where you allow a coach that hasn't even been with the team to come in and tell you that you got to throw away $31 million and I'm not going to do anything with this quarterback. If you give him that straight up and don't even make him look at the quarterback, you're setting up for another, Fox could be there.
In 3 years, we're having the same conversation.
Yeah, the same conversation because now you gave him too much too soon.
Watching college ball last night?
Yep.
Absolutely. How fun was that last night?
Kentucky remains perfect after a close game. Freddie called that one again. He's all trying to be all-knowing again.
No, just lucky.
That's right. He was lucky. He doesn't know. Anyway, should they be encouraged or discouraged? We talk about it after the break. Kate Fagan, Scoop Jackson, Freddie Coleman, hanging out at the desk. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Let's rub his head for good luck.
On the Hook is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
Thunder star, my MVP choice, Russell Westbrook, will return to the lineup tonight when the Thunder face the Sixers. Westbrook had surgery Saturday to repair a fracture in his right cheek after his teammate accidentally kneed him in the face. So let's talk about Russell Westbrook moving forward. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah.
Again, my MVP choice, Scoop.
I'm with you.
Really?
Oh, yeah, all day.
All right, so...
Should be in the conversation.
Yeah. He's definitely in the conversation.
Should be.
But I have him at a 2. Tell me what's going to happen, or what do you expect from Westbrook moving forward?
Well, I think no player could have been hurt at the wrong time. What he was doing before he got injured was kind of special. I think he had a month of February that was almost equivalent to what Kevin Durant had in January last year, where he solidified in my mind. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but he solidified in my mind, okay, this guy should be the MVP. But to have 3 triple-doubles in a row and then get taken out of that rhythm, I think it's going to hurt him a little bit. And, I mean, he's playing the Sixers, so he could get it. Hell, one of us could get a triple-double against the Sixers tonight. But I think just that pacing is going to come off, and now you're going to have the James Hardens and the Steph Currys and the LeBrons playing well. And I think just that break may affect Russell, and playing with the mask may affect him too. But moving forward, I think he's going to do what he has to do, hold it down until KD gets back, and then go for that final push. And like we were saying earlier over there, get in that 8th or 7th seed and then be one of the best 7th to 8th seeds we've ever seen in NBA history because they're all healthy.
Which is the question mark. We do not know when KD is returning. He
right.
will be evaluated this week. It could be 1 or 2 more weeks. Kate, what do you expect from Westbrook moving forward?
Well, he's definitely going to look as fierce as his game is now, right, with that mask on. And the way he plays and the way he was playing, it was so fun to watch. And certainly as a fan, I was disappointed that he had to miss some games. But I don't think he's actually going to break stride just because of the nature of the injury. I think he's going to pick right back up where he left off against the Sixers. But I'm more interested in, whether the Oklahoma City Thunder can continue gaining momentum before they get KD back and as they're heading into the playoffs. The question had been even last week, is this a lost season for them, right? After this injury to Russell Westbrook, now we see he's coming back. It's not going to be a very significant injury. They were 9-3 in the month of February, best record in the Western Conference. So can Russell Westbrook put this team on his shoulders again for the next few weeks, keep everything moving forward before they can get KD back? Can they build that momentum still? Because I think that's a key part of it for them.
Yeah,
is being able to get Russell back, build some continuity with the roster, and they made some trades, and then get KD back, and they can't just have these guys coming in the last week and expect to do something in the playoffs. I know they look good on paper and they're playing well, but they got to get KD back. They got to get everybody on the same page before they head into the playoffs.
It's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. They've had so many stop, start.
Yes, that's very
But yet they've always been able to keep going and go forward. Other people have been able to step up. And I give a lot of credit to this organization. Sam Presti has done a great job, not just not standing still, but, okay, what can we do to fortify where we don't have to rely on these guys so much? We're going to need these guys. We know that we hope they're going to be healthy. So what does he do? He gets an Enes Kanter where all of a sudden now KD, you're going to be our perimeter guy. Russell Westbrook going to make it easy for you. You have your foray into the lane. We got a big body that will attack the boards. We can throw the ball to him on the post. Hey, Serge Ibaka, now you can be that free safety and roam on the inside and protect the rim alone. Ennis Cantor, who can do the same thing. This has been so much of their normal. It's because, oh, Russell's out. When is he coming back? All right, fine. KD, he's out. When is he going? Evaluation? Fine. It's like whatever we need to do, whoever we put out there, we're going to bring it. And then when we get into the playoffs, when everybody's healthy, you don't want to see us in the playoffs, whether we're a 7th or an 8th seed. So because of that whole stop-start thing that they've gotten so used to, it would bother another team. But we've seen this from the Oklahoma City Thunder the last 2-3 years because Westbrook and Kevin Durant have had to deal with injuries, and this team has had to try to manufacture themselves again. And they still got to the Western Conference Finals last year in a stop-start mode. That's why I have enough faith that they'll probably, it wouldn't surprise me if they continue and get the Western Conference.
But then we're assuming, of course, that when the playoffs hit, there's no more stop-start.
There's plenty of assumptions.
No, of course. But like the way this season has been going for them, I'm not even sure you're going to see, like, throughout the playoffs that they're not going to run into something else, that something else is not going to...
I'm sorry.
No, it doesn't run away from them.
Do you think, in the Russell Westbrook conversation, that you and I think he's the MVP, do you think he will personally try to go for that for the rest of the season?
No, I think he's trying to secure a playoff spot.
Okay.
Right now, the Pelicans are a game back, and they're coming. So.
Okay, so you don't think he's, like, personally going to, try to... Like, all right, I'm going to will this thing. I'm going to get victories, but I still want to get this MVP.
No, I think he wants to win.
I think he wants to win and try to and get in the playoffs and just make sure that they're there. Because we've talked about how he's changed. He's mature. You're hearing him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he's more about being a team player now. It's not so much about what he's doing. I mean, that would be nice if, in fact, he could get that MVP.
As a byproduct of how he's playing, maybe he jumps to that top spot in the MVP race, and I don't think so. He's not my guy.
No, but he knows there's a lot on the line. The other day when he had took too many shots, he was like, I took too many shots. I think he took 38 shots. He was like, I think I took too many shots. You think?
It took 38 for him to say that. But that was a turning. That was a turning point.
Absolutely.
You had never heard him say that before.
The best thing about this, that conversation has ended once and for all that Kevin Durant would be better without Russell Westbrook.
Yes, please.
We can finally put that in the ground, throw dirt on it, say, for the brothers who aren't here, and forget about it from now on, because I don't want to hear that anymore.
Until the playoffs start and he has one of those games, it's going to come back up.
Either way, we can still put that conversation to rest because those two guys are better together. You can't separate those two and think that they're going to be better without each other. I think we can finally put that conversation to rest about, oh, they don't need Russell Westbrook. He's in Durant's way. That's the perfect guy you need for Kevin Durant.
You know what? Before we go, we'll take a moment to honor the homie, for those who aren't here. Kate Bacon. We really appreciate you being here. It's been a wonderful 3 days.
Amen.
You've enlightened us. We're so grateful that ESPNW allowed you to hang out with us.
Yes.
You do a great job. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
As for Scoop Jackson, thank you so much, my friend.
Unfortunately, I'll be back tomorrow.
It's great you'll be back tomorrow. Freddie Jackson.
Freddie
Jackson, Freddie Coleman, and Freddie Jackson will be back tomorrow.
I feel like Jay Cutler, John Fox now.